I've built model kits all my life, and sometimes I still do. And I've always wanted to get these things just a little bit larger, or me a little bit smaller, so that I could get the details just right. So I'm always trying to make these things as realistic as I can. I actually get to work on my truck and make it realistic. So to me, this is nothing more than just a large model kit. I got this thing exactly right, the windowsill. Now I have to work on this problem area that I showed you in the last video of getting this all aligned. So here's a 6-inch rule, which I like to get things aligned with. So that's going to be my first tack. Oh yeah, the stick. The stick I cut to the exact length of the window before I cut the old nose off, in case I ever want to put safari windows on. I want the size to be right. So this stick is a gauge that I use to get the window size exactly right. Here is an example of how I align things as I go. This is perfectly flush. I got that. But then back here, it's a little out of alignment. So I need to pull this flange out. Use a vice grip to hold it. So my point with this section of the video is to show that I've taken my worst case, my worst problem, and it's now my best area. So the worst is behind me. Now I just weld in the rest of it. Did I say how much fun I'm having doing this? How about that setup? It's an expansion clamp pushing against the back of the cab to push that into alignment. See that gap? Tighten the clamp. Gap is gone. Here's the situation. The stamping here isn't bent completely hard enough. Everything else is 90 degrees. But this spot in here at the curve, I don't know if you can see that, it is about 30 degrees off. So the weather strip in the window, or if somebody, after I'm gone, decides to put safari windows in here, they're not going to fit. and my glass is going to be too tight in the rubber, so I need to deform this flange and get that to be 90 degrees. And I think that's actually going to be easiest now that it is welded here and here. We'll give it a shot. This is an extremely blunt chisel. I've used this on concrete foundations, so it's quite rounded. Wow, that was great. That took less than 5 minutes. The dashboard is not attached to the nose skin at all. It's connected together through the windowsill. So since I got that tight, I have to fudge the dash, which is quite flexible. It can go up and down. And I want to show you that this part right here, this flange, is narrower and it's a lot wider here. I guess there's some geometry between having the windows, the nose, having all of this be square, and the dash being flat or level. They ended up with a taper here. So it's important, I think, for the window rubber to look right, to have that taper. If we don't take our time getting the dash straight and the flanges matching, I think we're going to see that gap between the window rubber and the dash varying. So I'm taking my time here to make sure that I get each spot weld with the top of the flanges lined up. So here it's dipped down, had some tension in the dash, so I'm having to push this up using a hose, a pipe clamp. Alright, you see that gap at the base of my window? I need to push the dash up. So here we are upside down, listening to the Bee Gees. There's my Eastwood clamp, works great. And I'm filling these plug weld holes. And I'm going to have to grind these off before I bend that flange over. Good time to get some corrosion protection in there before I fold that seam over.
A rose will wither and fade.
It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault.
There was a price to pay.
People have been writing me and asking me about the difference between plug welds and spot welds, and which is better. Spot welds is how VW originally did these, and you have to have bare metal to conduct the electricity between the pieces of metal for the hot spot to create the weld. But you have to have clean steel to do that. Which is one of the reasons why these things corrode, is that you can't get any corrosion protection in there after the spot weld has been done. VW did dip these into a giant vat of primer, but not all of those areas were soaked with primer. So I think that plug welds are stronger, and it gives me the opportunity to get some corrosion protection in there. You know, we as hobbyists have an enormous advantage over professional shops, and that we can spend as much time as we want doing this stuff. Therefore I think it is possible for us to do a much better job than professional shops can afford to do. Okay, fine, the nose is on, but how does the door fit? This is scary, people. Oh my goodness. That is perfect. Still welding down all those seams. It's done. It's amazing how much more rigid it is when it's connected all the way around the edges, the round shape of it. Well, I'm not a professional. This is just a hobby for me, and this is my old truck. It took me a couple of days to put this in. I think with my meager welding skills, I think anybody could do a good job if they take their time and pay attention to detail and care. As far as the looks go, as part of this review, it's absolutely stunning. I haven't found any flaws at all. As far as the fit, I would say don't change anything. I think this thing is ready to be cranked out and sent out to the masses. There is nothing that I would change. Everything was easy to fit, all the dimensions, the profiles, the edges, very easy to put in, no problems. Crank them out. Thousands of people are waiting for these things.